Silly boy. I keep forgetting we're not in love anymore. Look at this guy. My eyes are watering so bad. Sorry. Look at that sweet boy. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Good morning and welcome to Coffee Talk. How is everybody doing this morning? I hope you all slept well. I passed out in my clothes. I'm not kidding. In an actual dress with a sweater and a bra. So there we have it. I was so tired. I took a shower last night before cooking in cast iron. Got dressed in like comfortable clothes and then fell asleep in them. But hey, at least I was clean, right? Last night's cooking in cast iron was fun. It was really just, I made pantry soup, which is like a hodgepodge of whatever's in my house. All right, buddy, stop. It is good to be home. I'll tell you, I love to travel. I love to, get to go to New Jersey, especially go to Los Angeles, do the work that I love. But there is nothing like coming home. Nothing like seeing my kids until 6 minutes after I see them and they're already driving me crazy, because let's keep it real. And sleeping in your own bed is amazing. It's just amazing. The first night you sleep in a hotel, you're like, oh, I'm in a hotel. I get to sleep late, blah, blah, blah. It's all about getting back to your own bed. For those of you who watched the video of the girls singing Trolls last night, very cute and very indicative of how different they are. Different personalities. That essentially is like what would happen if Michael and I sang Trolls. I would be Charlie, obviously, and Olivia would be Michael. But, that's fine. Whatever. So, what else? I have a bunch of stuff to do today. I have to go to the dentist and get my teeth cleaned, but whatever. I'm going to post a picture of the pantry soup, and I'm going to put the recipe. It's like so simple, but I'm going to do it anyway, because some of you may want to try and make it. It's all about what can I throw together when I have nothing in the house, and 5:30 hits, and you're like, oh, I've got to make dinner. And I said it last night, and I'll say it again. It is so funny when 5:30 hits, and moms are like, dinner? What? I have to cook? As if we didn't know dinner was coming every single night. Comes every night. And yet there are nights that we act as if it is the first time it's our turn. What? Me? Dinner? What? Yeah, you, Mom. Get up and make dinner. Okay. So, a long, long time ago, I can still remember how that music used to make me smile. I promise I will not make singing a habit on this show. A long time ago, when I first started Coffee Talk, I told a story about a man in Los Angeles who legit broke my heart. Not in a romantic way, in a professional way. But a lot of people are asking me to write, to do coffee talks about this very subject. So I'm going to tell you the story again. So for those of you who already heard it, I apologize. But I think this story is important. And I don't know what I'm doing with my hand. It's like Italians cannot help it. Okay, so when I was young, I was like 23, making that up, but could have been. I wanted to move to Los Angeles so bad. I was living in New York, and I just wanted to live in LA because I felt like I was meant to do big things. And for some reason, I felt like if it wasn't in fashion or music, which was New York at the time, if it was in writing or storytelling or any of those things, it would be in LA. And I needed a job. I was freelancing for some magazines, but it wasn't enough. I needed like a legit, real job. So I went to LA for a couple of days and was asking everybody I knew for meetings, to meet with anybody. And somebody set me up with this guy in the beauty business. He made like lotions that his company made and manufactured and distributed lotions to all the nail salons. I mean, he was like the number one guy. His company was big. It was beautiful. It was whatever. Anyway, long story short, I go and I interview with this guy. Okay. And we're talking. Now imagine this. You're 23 years old. You're in LA in the middle of an interview. And the man says to me, okay, so really quick, it just occurred to me. Your last name's Premack. Any chance you know Lou Premack? I go, oh my God, that's my dad. He goes, Lou Premack is your dad? Yeah. Oh my gosh, I've known Lou Premack for years. And he tells me this very funny story about my dad, how he set up a booth at this beauty show in Vegas, and my dad's booth was next to his. And this man left to go get food. And when he comes back from getting food, my dad, who he doesn't know, is working his booth. And the guy's like, buddy, what are you doing in my booth? And my dad's like, oh, you left it empty. So I jumped in to help out. That's my dad. My dad was such a ham, right? I wonder where I get it from. So anyway, we share this amazing moment. And I think in my mind, this must be the job for me. What are the chances this guy knows my dad, right? Come on, he knows my dad? Nobody knows my dad. So anyway, I think it's in the bag. I'm getting the job. I'm moving to LA. I'm going to be like in the beauty business like my dad. And this is it. It's all like happening. This is my destiny. So he says to me, I need you to come back tomorrow and meet my wife. She's my partner. But I think this is going to be great. So I call my mom and I'm crying like happy tears. And I tell her the whole story. And she's like, oh, baby, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. And how beautiful that he knew your father. And it's kismet, which is Yiddish for meant to be. And I'm so happy for you. And she's like, there's just one thing. And I'm like, what is it, Ma? She's like, there's no way the wife is going to let him hire you. I go, what do you mean? She goes, oh, honey, you're so naive to the world. There's no way that this man's wife is going to let him hire a 23-year-old beautiful girl to travel with him from New Jersey. You know, it's never going to happen. But I love that you like the job and he knew your father. Keep looking. And I'm like, Mom, totes, no. You don't know what you're talking about, and you're obviously delusional because I'm amazing, and this guy sees it, and I don't know what you're talking about, okay? And my mom's like, all right, well, I've been around the block a few times, and we'll see. So I don't think anything of what my mom said, okay? I don't think anything of what she said because I'm like, my mom basically is crazy, right? I've known this my whole life. So the next day, I get dressed, try to put my best foot forward, try to look as cute as possible, like professional, but like put together. You know, it's the beauty business, right? And I walk in and he is nowhere to be found. It's just me and the wife who meets me in the lobby. And she's like, how are you? I've heard a lot about you. And I'm like, oh, I'm great. And so, you know, I have good energy. So anyway, we go in the room and we talk and she's like, so I hear, you know, my husband knew your father. So I tell her the story, right? And, you know, I talk about how I'm excited to travel and do the things that my dad did and get to go to Vegas with him and do the beauty shows and just like how cool it is. And they're Jewish. And I think I even threw in a kismet, you know, whatever. And she was delightful. Delightful. So she's like, I'm going to have him call you. I'm not saying his name. I'm going to have him call you, but it was so lovely to meet you and how wonderful that he knew your dad and blah, blah, blah. So I leave and I call my mom and I'm like, she was awesome. Yeah, right. She basically became Randy Jackson, okay, and Simon Cowell after I left. But she was awesome to my face. So I called my mom from lunch and I'm like, Ma, she was awesome. See, you don't know what you're talking about. My mom's like, all right, has he called you yet? I'm like, no. She's like, okay. Well, on the off chance that I'm right, I think you should have a cocktail. I'm like, I don't want a cocktail. It's 11:30 in the afternoon. She's like, just have one. Have one cocktail. So I'm like, I was with a girlfriend. So I'm like, maybe I should have a mimosa when they call and tell me that I got my awesome job and I'm basically going to become my dad. And how awesome is that? So I'm sitting at lunch. 30 minutes later, the phone rings and it's this guy. So I answer the phone and I say to my girlfriend, I'm like, hold on, let me just go over here because I'm about to get my dream job. And she's like, okay. So I step off to the side and I'm like, hello? And he's like, hey, Jamie, it's Schmuck. And I'm like, hey, Schmuck, how are you? And he's like, good, good. He's like, you busy? I'm like, no, I'm just having lunch with a girlfriend, you know, whatever. So he's like, okay, so listen, first of all, I want to tell you how amazing it was to meet you. Unbelievable what a small world it is that I get to meet you and talk about your dad. I mean, it just was amazing for me. I'm like, uh-huh. And he's like, and I really do think you would be right for this job. I think you'd be fantastic. You have a lot of traits that your father had. And I'm like, uh-huh, right? And he's like, but it's going to be a no from us. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, I just think we're looking for somebody a little bit older with a little bit more experience. And I'm like, okay. So I say, but you did know that I was 23 when I came in to meet with you, right? Because you know me, I'm calling bullshit. If I smell it, So I say, you do know that I was 23 when I came in to meet with you. He's like, I know, but I thought that maybe we could make it work. But the more I think about it, and I'm like, so now my mom's words are playing in my head. So I go, your wife has an issue, right? And he's like, excuse me? I'm like, your wife has an issue, right? And he was like, yes. And I was like, what's her issue? And he was like, I just think she would feel more comfortable if the woman that I hired was more established and married and understood sort of what the limitations and sort of expectations. And I'm like, stop using SAT words. Limitations and expectations and gratifications and modification. Stop. Are you saying basically your wife thinks I'm a threat to her? And he was like, I think we should probably end this conversation. And I was like, okay, well, you're a schmuck, okay? But go live your miserable life where you are a slave to your wife's insecurities. Totally fine with that. And then I said, my guess is you probably had an affair and she probably forgave you. And I probably reminded her of the woman you had an affair with. And I hung up. And then, as I felt all of my dreams and hopes and dreams crumbling, I had to call my mother and say the one thing that I never want to say to my mother. You were right. You were right. And she was like, I'm sorry, what? I can't hear you all the way in Florida. And I was like, you were right, Susan. You were right. They didn't hire me. And she was like, oh, they didn't? I'm so sorry, honey. I can't imagine. And I said, yeah, I'm sure he had an affair. And I probably reminded her of the woman he had an affair with. And she was like, and it doesn't even matter if the woman he had an affair with was 900 pounds and from Ethiopia. Because the truth is that any woman that she feels threatened by will be a reminder of the experience. So it doesn't matter. And I was like, okay, I just want to go have a cocktail. And I sat on the curb outside the restaurant in LA. I will never forget it. And I cried. My throat was burning, hot tears burning my face. And I cried and cried and cried. I was so devastated because I thought my dreams, all of my hopes and dreams to work in LA were gone. This was it. This was my one chance. This was my M&M. This was my 8 Mile, and it was gone. It was gone. And I wanted to retaliate. I was so angry. I wanted to find that woman, and I wanted to like follow her into the supermarket and be like, oh, hey, oh, fancy running into you here. So funny seeing you at the supermarket. Do I remind you of anybody? Anything about me bothering you? But I didn't, because I was 23 and I didn't have a car in LA, and I don't know what supermarket she shops at. But I was heartbroken. And I really, really believed that my father had somehow stepped in and was like helping me live my dreams. Not so much, right? Here's where the story takes an interesting turn. Are you listening? Are you listening? I hope you are. The next day, I went with a girlfriend to Fred Siegel for lunch. I was already broke. Why not get broker? And while I was there, Brett Ratner, the director, walked in and was like, Jamie, how are you? Lindsay, what are you guys doing? So he sits down with us and we start just, chit-chatting away, just us and Brett Ratner. And there's a guy sitting at the table next to us for lunch, and he's talking on the phone, and he's so loud. So finally, I'm in a shit mood. I'm still drinking cocktails from the day before. I hate everybody. And I look at the guy and I go, wow, talk loud much in a restaurant on your phone? And he's like, excuse you? So Brett turns around and goes, oh, Guy, how are you? Guy, this is my friend Jamie. Jamie, this is Guy Starkman. He owns everything in LA. So I'm like, oh, shit. So I'm like, hi, Guy Starkman. He's like, did you have something to say to me? I go, well, you're a little loud. Are you from New Jersey? And he goes, no, I'm from LA. I go, oh, okay, well, I'm from New Jersey. We're loud too. So I was just thought maybe you were my people. I turn back around. We're drinking. Guy gets off the phone and Brett says, Guy, what are you sitting by yourself for? Come sit with me and the girls. So Guy comes to sit at the table, and now I'm telling them the story. And the two men, Brett Ratner and Guy Starkman, are captivated. They're like this. I tell the whole story just like I told it to you guys. And Guy says, so you want a job in LA and you can't get one because you're too good looking? That's what I'm hearing. I go, no, that's not what I said. He goes, well, that's what I heard. And so they're making fun of me. And Guy says, actually, I'm looking for somebody. I need somebody. And I need her to be good looking. So I go, it's not porn, is it? He goes, no. I'm looking for like a junior publicist to blah, 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 blah. I go, I would be perfect for that. Lindsay's like, she would be perfect for that. Brett goes, she would be perfect for that. Long story short, the next day, Guy goes to play basketball. He calls me. We meet at Jerry's Deli in LA. We have coffee. We have breakfast, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. 2 days later, I have a written offer with a relocation package. And I end up getting a job to move to LA full-time to work for Guy Starkman, which started basically my entire career. And look at me now. I'm married with 3 kids living in Birmingham. Do I have the American dream or what, people? So what I'm telling you now in this long-winded story is when somebody decides you're not right for them, when somebody tells you it's a no from me, dog. It's a no from me. You know what you say? I'm going to have a cocktail. Okay? I'm going to go have a cocktail. Something good's going to happen to me while I'm drinking that cocktail. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be awesome. So you can take your it's a no from me and shove it right up your... Okay? So, here I am. Making a break in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go. I don't really know how that song fit, but I felt it, so I went with it. Is there vodka in this cup? Anyway, the point of this story is legit, real talk. We all get no's. We all get, it's a no from me, dog. And it hurts. And it sucks. And rejection sucks. And it's heartbreaking. And you feel literally like when the door closes, it seals shut. You're never going to get it open again. But the truth is, You may not ever get that door open again. You may be right. You may be right. I may be crazy, but it just may be a little... What's happening? I don't know. So I want to know what you said. Kim Coben, you can do an entire chat without slurping or snorting. I'm so happy. I don't know how I feel about that comment, Kim. I think it was unnecessary. Kind of hurt my feelings, but I'm going to let it go. All right. So anyway, somebody today watching this is going to hear a no. You're waiting for something, whether it's professional, personal, whatever. You're waiting for it. You think it's going to happen for you. And the truth is, it isn't. You're going to get it. It's a no from me, dog. And I want to tell you this. That is okay. That door is going to shut. It's going to seal. And it's going to break your heart. Your throat's going to burn. And the tears are going to feel hot. And you are going to be miserable. But I'm telling you that another door is going to open. I know it. I know it because I lived it. It is going to happen for you. And another door is opening for me right now with my father. I can't tell you the details right this second, but when I can, you know where I'm coming and you know what I'm going to do. Okay? But another door with my dad is opening right now. I believe it. And if my mother tells me I told you so, I'm going to maybe have to like set her on fire. I don't know. All right. I love you guys so much. Amanda, I love you. I hope you guys like this story. And if nothing else, you were entertained. Entertained? That's not even a word. Jamie? Entertained. If nothing else, you were entertained. And we had a great time this morning. I love you so much. Please tag somebody. Share this video. Help me get to 500,000. I'm going to go check on who shared it. Because I can. And pray my voice comes back because this is annoying already. I love you guys so much. Have a great, great day. Thank you for sharing my video. Deanne Jenkins, I saw it. Thank you so much. And come follow me on Instagram, Jamie P. Sullivan. It's so irreverent, but man, it's fun. Jamie P. Sullivan. Love you.